guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys how to do brows. I think I did a brow tutorial about 5 years ago, or it could be more, and I decided that I'm going to show you my updated version. I don't do my eyebrows first anymore. I do them last. They are the last thing I actually do for any makeup application, especially on my clients, and I just find it a lot easier to do it in the final step. So I'm going to show you guys some of the steps that I take to ensure that I get a nice, clean, natural, effortless brow without the stress.
Want you right here in the world.
Alright. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to ensure that you have a spoolie. For me, I'm using this little mini brush that I got in a set. It's actually supposed to wash a straw, but I find that because of how this is, I can just wash it and keep it. You know, I always use the spoolie, so I keep this around. So I'm just going to first brush my brows up into place like this. If you have thin brows, you want to ensure that you add, you know, or if you have brows that are unruly, you want to ensure that you add some sort of product. I like to use edge control. You can use edge control, you can use a little bit of mousse, anything that's going to really keep those brows up. You just put a little bit on your brush and you comb through. And now I'm going to go in and using a very small detailed brush. This is actually a nail brush, and I use these for precise work. So liners, eyebrows, stuff like that, I always use a nail brush. It just gets the job done. And yeah, so I'm going to use this LA Girl gel liner in dark brown. This is actually my favorite liner for brows. I have the brow pomade, but I just prefer their gel liner. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, because I'm doing this last, you want to ensure that you're protecting your client's makeup. So I have foundation on my skin already, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tackle the brows. If you have hair like me, you just really want to shade in the background. So I have the brush pretty flat, and I'm just using it the same way that it's shaped, flat, and I'm just barely drawing a shadow behind my brows. Not doing the most, I'm just barely allowing the tip of the brow to touch my skin, and then I just wipe that on. And then I go into the front, and you want to do, you know, hair-like strokes. Just follow the natural growth of your hairs. Now, what if you have a thin brow? You don't really have much of an outline to follow, a template to follow. Then what you'd want to do is you need to rest your hand on the face, your little finger, and you want to just ensure that you are steady. Once your little finger is placed here, you can't move. And then you're going to use the brush now as your pivot, and you're just going to go in and you're going to shape those brows. I often tell my students of a measurement that we use to map the brows out, and that's side of the nose, side of the eyes. And you just want to ensure that if you're using a pencil or you're using a brush, that you allow it to stop at the tail here. Make a little mark so you have an outline. Then you want to go in the middle of your eyes, so you look forward, and you just go in the center of your eyes, okay? And that's where your arch should stop. But I also saw that it's at the edge here, so you know it works well for you to just follow the natural arch of your brows, and just rest it against your nose, and you want to mark that out. And then you follow the front here at the side of your nose. So at all times you're going to use your nose as your placement. I know when we look into literature or research these type of things, you will find that they say in the center of your eye is normally where your arch is. But if I should do the center of my pupil, or if I should do the end of my pupil, I'm still not in my natural arch. This is my natural arch. All right, so I am going to implore you just to do it at the side of your nose and your pupil, and it will be a more accurate depiction of where your arch should be. And that's what I do. But that's if you're going to do brows first. I don't recommend this if you're going to do them last, just because it's going to mess up your foundation. So if you're doing them last, you're literally just going to do your face, and you are just going to follow the natural outline of your brows. If you have thinner brows, as I said, all you want to do is just to go around them more so on the top and just work your way in. Once you have one brow down and you pay attention to your steps, you can go over and you can repeat the steps. Right here, I have come a little bit lower with this brow, and that's by using the brush to do this. That's if you want a thicker front, right? But for me, I prefer it to just be a shading, just a shading behind my natural brow, and you can see the difference. So when I do my brows like this, you can see how small my eyes become, and the brow is just so strong. But when I do my brows according to, you know, my natural brow line, you can see how natural it looks. You can see that my eyes, I have more space over my eyes. And so what will happen is when we do a brow this strong and we go in with a very strong eyeshadow look, we get a very masculine type of finish. But I would implore you to stay within the person's natural brow shape, and anything that you're doing, do it on top. Okay, so I am going to correct this brow. So I'm just gonna finish up that strong look so that you can see the difference. So I'm just going to go in with a brush and I'm just going to show you. So I use a foundation or a concealer, and I'm just going to use it right out of the front here, and I'm just going to do. The important thing to note is that you always want to raise your brows. Raising your brows will actually stretch your skin and will allow you to glide your brush over smoother. But I just want you to see the difference in the brows. And I have done this one. If you notice how far down it comes, just look at the difference. Okay, this one is out a little, this one comes all the way down. I'm just going to show you the difference. It's a subtle difference because I can't really. So I go over. Now you'll notice that right here I have wiped a bit of the product right under my brows, and so that's gonna be a problem for me to blend. When I go into blend, that product is gonna seep up into the brows, mess up the brows, and I have to go over it, and it's gonna take me longer than it needs to do this one brow. But this is a technique that I like to do. So what you want to do is get your flat brush and you want to wipe back and forth so that the product is distributed throughout the brush properly but not in excess. And what you want to do is raise your brows and you want to plant that brush right under the brow, pull it down, under and pull, under and pull. Now if it's an angled brush, you want the angle or the higher part to go to the higher part of the brows. So in this case it would be my arch, which is here. So I'm going to turn this higher part towards my arch and the lower part this way, and I'm just going to place and pull. Now you may notice that there is a definite difference. I have used both brows. I have used my foundation shade, that's the one all over my face, under my brows. Yes, but you can see that one looks a little bit more natural and one of my eyes look bigger. All right, and that's what you want to go for. I'm going to go in with a lighter concealer underneath just to show you guys how you can get that highlighted brow bone without the drama. Okay, all right, so I'm going to be using my Black Opal Even True Conceal and Brighten Under Eye Concealer to do this. This is the one I go for when I'm not using my LA Girl Pro Conceal. It's a little bit lighter than me, but it does the job because it's so lightweight and it blends really nicely, and I love Black Opal, so I don't really have a problem. So I'm going to use this lighter concealer, and I'm just going to go all the way. I'm going to mess up my makeup now by doing this, but I'm just going to go all under my brows with this lighter concealer. So this is a mistake a lot of people make. They first of all drag the concealer under the brows, and what it does, it just pushes it up. Even if you don't have the excess in the brush, it can push the product up, all right, up into the brows. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to use the same product over here, but I'm going to show you the technique that I use. So I am going to turn the higher part of the brush, as I said, to the higher point of my brow, and I'm going to wipe this product in back and front just so that it is in there nicely. And I'm just going to place this color right in my arch right here. And one of the reasons why I wait until I'm finished to do my brows is because I would have already covered the skin in all the foundation that I needed to cover it in, the complexion products, the powders, all of that. I would have done all of that. I would have gotten my eyeshadow down, and I would just have wanted under the brow to just be a little highlighted. I wouldn't want to conceal because the technique that I use allows for me to do a neat brow without the extra work. What I do is, at the final moment, I go in with a lighter concealer just in that brow bone. I would have had all of this product done already, as I said before, and so I would just need to highlight that brow bone, and that is how I'm able to get a highlighted brow. I really don't do much as it relates to brows when I'm doing brows, because I want for the client's skin to speak. Everyone does their makeup differently. As a client reminded me, everyone does their makeup differently. There's no wrong or right, it's art, and so we are able to express ourselves differently. However, there is a right way to do your art, if that makes sense. So your technique can be different, but there is a way in terms of light and shadows. When we talk about makeup artistry, especially when we talk about art, I'm a trained art teacher, and so when we talk about dimensions and, you know, giving things depth and all of that, we talk mainly about light and shadows and the use of shading to create that. So with and even paint. So with makeup artistry, I consider it to be art, and so it's painting. And so if I want an area to look round, that's where I'm going to put a lighter color. That's just what you understand from doing art. You just put down, you know, a lighter color or a darker color, a darker color, lighter color, to do the highlighting and the contouring or the push back. All right, that is how we are able to paint on a flat surface and make it 3D, because we understand light and shadows. So when it comes to makeup artistry, that's the same approach I take. Now, because I have this foundation shade under my brows, I can simply blend this away, and I would advise you not to do this and have them meet, because yes, I know you want to get that structured, buildable brow, but a lot of times the makeup is not blended. Remember that when you put the product down and you blend it, it does not go anywhere now. It's still there. It just is not in excess anymore. And so what happens is, when you go in to take a picture, you're always going to see that outline. There's nothing that you can do about that. The only thing that you can stop that is you not doing it to begin with. All right, that's the only thing that can stop that. So once I've applied the product and it is down, remember, it's place and pull, place and pull. While you are doing that, you are doing two things. You are first cleaning up your brows, and you are also creating a base on your eyelids for your eyeshadow. okay? But that is if you are doing it first. If you're doing it last, you want to use the least amount of product that is possible for you to use, and you just want to put it under here, allow it to dry down a little bit, and then you want to go in with your brush in a patting motion, and you just want to pat that product in. So as long as it's not a quick drying concealer, you can definitely just go in and work that in, and then simply just tap that up with some eyeshadow, and that is fine. All right, so you'll notice that we have a little bit of wetness there in our brows. That's an easy fix. I'm going to take the Monto Cute Beauty Puff Blender, and I'm just going to go on top of my brows like this. This also helps to press the brows together as well, the brow hairs together, and the product that I've applied, but it also removes that excess product. And right there and then I have a blended brow without the work. Okay, so you can see the difference with this one and this one. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to fix this one real quick. Let me show you how you can fix something like this. So yeah, you've gone in with a lighter concealer. Wow, you know, what am I gonna do? Okay, here's what you're going to do. So first and foremost, you're going to raise the client's brows, or you're going to ask them to raise it, or you're going to raise your brows. What I'm gonna do is, do not pass this area with this color. So I would suggest that you go in and you blend this area as much as possible, and you want to blend it in an angled motion. All right, so you want to blend it down and towards here, because what you're trying to do is remove the excess product from the brows. Now that I have the product up in my brows, I'm just going to blend under it as much as possible without going up into that region whatsoever. We have this lighter area right here again. We're going to have to go on top of this with our foundation just to neutralize, okay? Because it is going to show up if it's not blended. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my puff blender again by Monto Cute Beauty, and I'm just going to place it onto my brows like this, and I'm just going to press down a little bit. And what I'm doing now, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm just removing. So this is all, remember what you saw from the previous one. This is what we've taken from this one, okay? This is the excess that we've taken out from this one. So that's a lot of product that we would have to contest with. That's too much to contest with, too much. All right, so you'll notice that this brow is still lower, not true? Totally different, right? And it's the same face. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go in with that concealer brush that I had before, and I'm just going to clean off that lighter concealer, and I'm going back into my foundation, and I am going to place and pull. I am going to look at where my natural brow is, and I'm going to show you guys my natural brow starts here. So I'm just going to make this mark just to show you. That is how far up I went. So I'm just going to apply my foundation onto those areas, especially right here at the tail where I don't really want that definition. And I'm also going to lift my brows by wiping off some of this. So by going in a slanted motion, you can see that I've already lifted my brows. I'm also going to thin out the ends of my brows just a little bit more because they are a little too thick for me. So I'm just going to place and pull. All right, some of the times this is done on the top and not so much the bottom, but I'm just going to use the bottom to show you guys. And this one is elongated. You can also correct it from in the arch opposed to the tail. All right, so there's a lot that you can do to correct, and now you can see how easily I have just put them. I'm using my foundation shade. Remember, you have to use a shade to correct. And then I'm gonna go in with this nice fluffy brush, and I'm gonna pat the product in, but I'm also just gonna pat it on the front as well, just on top of the brows. And what that does, guys, it just softens the front of the brows so they look a little bit more natural. They're not as hard and boxed in. And right there, I have given myself a little bit more space to work with. I can do my really nice cut crease, and it's gonna look really good. Okay, So that's what you do. Again, you can go into the arch with a lighter concealer, just the arch, just a little bit. Remember, less is more when you are doing things like this. You want to use as little product as possible. Seems I'm getting some competition, but that's fine. And I'm just gonna go back in with my puff blender, and I'm just going to blend out everything. And I love to put it over my brows. I just love to do that, just to kind of make everything easier for me. And I'm just gonna go under my eyes and blend out everything on my face. And you can see a while ago I had like some marks on my nose, and you can see how easily the buff blender just goes in. It's so much better to me than a beauty blender. I love it so much. I've had 2 beauty blenders, I had to get rid of them, and then I realized that puffs actually blend your foundation better, in my opinion. And so I decided to make that a permanent part of my brand. So I had to bring those tools to makeup artists, you know, working professionals and upcoming makeup artists. I have to preach to them that it is so important to get the right products. We have a few of these on the market that are really hard to work with, because it's almost like there's cardboard in the middle of it. So when you have something that is this soft, you can literally wrap it around your finger and you can wash it again. It is branded by a Jamaican makeup company, you know, and you know, it's just the pride behind it. And I just love to see you know, my name out there and people just appreciating what I have taken time to consider and to put out on the market. I absolutely love this puff blender, just for doing the obvious. You know, I had a little bit of creasing over my eyes a while ago, and you can see how easily what it does, the texture of it just removes that excess, and it doesn't eat up the product. The product sits on the outside, and you are able to work with whatever you're working with. It has a really nice velvet feel, so it's so soft on the skin, and it pushes that foundation beyond the hairs on your face, so you don't get the foundation sitting on top of your face, but it goes in on your skin, so you get a more flawless finish. Takes away the excess, so you're not gonna have that build up, that heavy build up of foundation, because this does what it's supposed to do. Okay, takes away the excess moisture and just leaves that pigment and that coverage. So here I have my nose. You know, you can see that the foundation has been moved, so I'm just going to go in right now. There's no product on this. I'm just going to go in right now, and you can see right there. And if you could see my skin clearly, then you can see that the product has really pushed, you know, the puff has really pushed the product back and pushed it on my skin, so it just looks really seamless. Just look at that. Alright guys, so that's it for the tutorial. Stay tuned to the other parts of the tutorial, as I will be doing this full look. So stay tuned for the other parts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.